Nobody saw this coming today at the Australian Open. Novak Djokovic, the 10-time champion here at Melbourne Park, retiring from his semi-final against the second seed Alexander Zverev after dropping the opening set. John McEnroe, John Millman and Jelena Dokic are alongside me here at the Nine Studios for all of the reaction from that moment. It really shocked everyone. John, you were calling it. You were in the bunker. You had the best view. Did you sense that he was struggling? Could you see that coming?
No. I mean, we were all wondering how he's going to hold up after, the match against Carlos. But I thought he was moving pretty well, actually, managing things. Clearly, Zverev was tight, trying to sort of get the nerves out. It was a very closely contested first set. Hour and 20-minute set. I was almost more shocked when he missed the volley. I'm like, there's no way he's going to miss that volley, right? And then he missed it. The next thing you know, the only guy in the stadium that was happy was Zverev. When he put his hand, the look in his eyes was like, what? I mean, we were all like, oh my God. But I'll tell you something, because it brings me back, the first time I ever won a major, I got a couple defaults. And I bet you there's no one here in this, neither one of you two over there, Jelena or John, that would know that, you don't know. And in 10 years' time, if Zverev wins this, no one's going to know or care that, Novak didn't play. He got through it. It's not his fault. But that's a bummer for, it was starting to get very interesting, so it's a bummer. But Zverev's had, a roller coaster ride to, try to get to a major, and he's been so close. Obviously, served for the match when he played team. He was up 2-1 against Carlos at the French. He ran out of gas. He figured out that he needed to be able to have more left in the legs to make it through, and it looked like he was. You tell me what you think. Was he going out there trying to, like a war of attrition type thing? Like he's going to break him down like you did against Roger that time at the Open? Or what was going on there? Because, he was very passive in my book, more passive than he should have been. He played a great point. I think it was 5-0 in the tiebreak.
Yeah, that was his best point, wasn't it? Where he ran around, ripped that inside-in forehand. And I think that's what we want to see more of Alexander Zverev do. And he did that in the earlier rounds. It's just when it comes into the crunch, he needs to do that to go on and win one of these Grand Slams, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's something that when he lost to team in that US Open final, but including against Carlos last year, he was 2-1 up. Maybe he ran out of gas a little bit, but he got passive. And that's his Achilles heel a little bit for Alexander Zverev. So great to see him in the final again. He deserves it, but already looking forward, he's going to have to be aggressive and go after it.
Well, if he plays Shelton, for example, I'm just going to throw it out, because in America, we're sort of hoping for a breakthrough, even though Sinner's a pretty solid favorite to win that. I would bet you he'd play the same way. Honestly, like the way I was taught, and I think a lot of players are taught, number one thing, don't beat yourself. You get to a certain point where you test yourself against the best of the best, maybe that's not good enough. But you want the players to beat themselves. And that's what I bet he'll do. He can't do that against Sinner. I don't think that would work, but it may possibly work if he played Ben that way.
We can see Alexander Zverev spending some time with the crowd here. You weren't happy with the crowd's response to Novak Djokovic. How loud were those boos inside Rod Laver Arena when he did retire?
He's won this 10 times. Come on. The guy clearly, something was up. The guy's a battler. Him and Rafa have dug deeper than any two players I've ever seen, mentally, physically, you name it. So to do that because he decided that, he couldn't go on after what he's done here, I thought was absolutely ludicrous, honestly. That was depressing. That was almost as depressing as seeing the end of the match, honestly, to see him do that and then him put his thumbs up and too bad. Too bad.
Yeah, look, the crowds have been questioned a lot, and rightly so. I just think it's a bit of a shambles. Some of the behaviour has crossed the line, and that one takes the cake for me. This is a guy that's won it 10 times, have some respect. He's one of the all-time greats, if not the greatest to play. He's definitely the greatest to play on this court. I don't care how much you've spent on your ticket, have some respect.
Yeah, I agree. And we've seen Djokovic in his career when he's had injuries. He's had hamstring injuries and ab injuries here in Melbourne. He's played through them, played through the tournament and gone on and hasn't retired in matches, and only a really heavy knee injury at the French Open took him out last year where he couldn't play the quarterfinals. So if he decided that he couldn't play, he really couldn't play. He really had to be injured.
Well, Alexander Zverev, he did fiercely defend Djokovic in his post-match interview with Jim Courier. He said exactly that. He said he's pushed through everything, so it must be really bad if someone like Novak did retire. But let's have a look at these set highlights now, thanks to Journey Beyond, because it was quite the arm wrestle.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, both guys had chances, particularly Zverev. I mean, in the beginning, Djokovic couldn't hit a first serve, and he was 4 out of 20, and then amazingly hit 15 in a row in. So it was unpredictable, but at the same time, it was predictable because what was happening is Zverev's nerves got in the way, and he was having trouble executing. And Novak was giving him a lot of different looks, as he should, and taking advantage of the predictability of what he was seeing, which is that Sasha likes to go cross court on both sides, and he was taking advantage of that. But having said that, it's still a tiebreaker. It's not like, some type of runaway. It's, 6-all, and that was the best point he played. To me, the most aggressive point he played. So here it is, 6-5 in the tiebreaker. Djokovic misses that volley. No one in their wildest dreams, anyone in that crowd, including Murray or anyone on his team, you saw the shock in Novak's wife that he was stopping. It's too bad. That's all. You hate to see in any sporting event. Usually in other sporting events, you can sub other people in. They keep playing. That's one of our problems. You can't. Well, maybe we'll get John out there or some of the, Leighton out there again in Philippoussis or something to play an exhibition. But right now we got some time to kill.
Why don't you get out there? Come on.
No one's asked me.
Okay.
And maybe that's a good idea.
I would love to go out there and hit some balls with Johnny Mac. If it's possible, can we make it happen? I just want to feel that serve.
John v. John.
I would love to. I have a tennis academy. I love to play with the kids. They beat up on me. The pros do. But I still like it. I try to keep some. I haven't played in the month of January because it's been some craziness going on in one of my places I live in, Malibu, and now this. I didn't get to play the senior. These young guys, those 40, 50-year-olds, Pat Rafter, not the 60-plus, you're out of here.
Wide World of Sports on YouTube is your home of the tennis this summer.
With highlights of the best matches of the summer of tennis, the on-court interviews and every day with the morning serve, you'll be ahead of the game.
So click that subscribe button so you don't miss a thing this summer.